2024年10月19日，在风景秀丽的Miami Coral Gables的Biltmore Hotel 举行了一场关于顶级美国寄宿学校的讨论会。此次活动吸引了多所全美及地区顶尖的寄宿学校前来介绍他们的教育理念和学校特色，吸引了众多家长和学生的关注。活动中，来自全美不同地区的8所顶级寄宿学校，包括新英格兰地区的Concord Academy、纽约州的Emma Willard School 等，介绍了他们的课程设置、师资力量以及学生的日常生活和成长环境。每个学校的代表都详细阐述了其学校的独特优势，如Fay School 作为全美排名第一的寄宿初中，以其严谨的学术环境和全面的个人发展计划而自豪。在会议上特别提到了学费问题，每年大约为7万美金，虽然不菲，但显然对于追求顶尖教育资源的家庭来说，这是一项值得投资的选择。许多来自中国的家长表示，尽管成本高昂，但他们认为高质量的教育是对孩子未来最重要的投资。此外，此次活动也为家长们提供了与招生官面对面交流的平台，使他们能够直接询问关于申请流程、奖学金机会及学生支持服务等更具体的问题，从而帮助他们做出更为明智的决定。总体上，参加这次会议的家长和学生们反应热烈，大家对能够近距离了解这些顶尖学府的机会感到非常满意。对许多人来说，这不仅是一次学习和了解的机会，更是一个为自己或子女规划未来的重要步骤。
And then, some of us, I think 3 is pretty much the standard. Sometimes students are like, can I submit like 10? I'm like a music teacher that they had at one point. And sometimes it's just like too much information. You feel like we
Don't
can.
Do it. Don't
yeah.
do it.
I always say, because we're test optional, and I think there's a really good reason to accept maybe up to 5 recs, but that's personal, perhaps. Yeah. But we're test optional, and so I always say if you're going to submit, we require a graded written supplement as opposed to that test. And with that, if you submit a history essay, you should really get a history recommendation letter, in my opinion, then, right? It should demonstrate that you have a relationship with that teacher as well. But say that you've been doing violin outside of school for 12 years, get a violin recommendation letter, right? Have that person characterize you and also talk about your violin, that what you've been doing for those 12 years. I think those are really applicable. Yeah. But if you're like, I was in Girl Scouts when I was in 5th grade and I loved my counselor. That's awesome. I don't need to see that recommendation letter. So it's kind of just weighing what the value is on those things.
I might also add on that too.
We have 480 students. We have 226 boarders. We start from 7th grade to 12th grade. We have students in our boarding population from all across the United States and also 30 different countries. So one of the things that we really truly celebrate at the Southern Brook School is global diversity.
Anyone knows the history around Concord? So, huh?
No, I said a little bit, but I won't.
So if you think about, this April will be 200, our country will be 250 years old. And it all started in Concord, Mass. So that's where everything happened, where the war started in the Revolution. So it's a very, very historical town. Lots of tourists that show up from all over, and what's cool about Concord campus, it's right on Main Street. So we have the options of having students walk off campus. We have extended campus. They can walk to some of the antique shops. They can go on hikes. They can go to a local pizza spot called Sorrento's and get pizza between classes.
But we also want them to be open to loving something else. So a successful 4-year career and preparing yourself for whatever comes next includes I think validation in I'm a great athlete and I want to continue to be a great athlete, but look at what I'm creating in the ceramic studio that I might not have ever thought of doing prior to coming to this school. And so opening your mind to all of the possibilities.
You've probably heard now on and off how most of our schools do have 3 season requirements of some kind. Emma is a little bit different in that capacity. Also, we call it our movement requirement. So our dance program counts as your after school activity, as does our backstage theater. theater doesn't quite count yet, we're working on that. But we also have, as I mentioned, 14 varsity sports, and so we also have intramural sports like badminton, which is not necessarily an interscholastic league, but we do go and play other independent schools for badminton. So these are just a couple of examples, I would say. I think community service is also a great example of an afternoon activity. And many of these things kids do Monday through Friday and then occasionally on Saturday if that's a part of that school's schedule. They take place anywhere from 3 to 5:30 p.m. Some sports are a little bit more hardcore. They're doing full 2-hour practices. I know our swim team is very serious. We won our championship last year. But then our JV field hockey team had an entire group of students who had never even seen a stick before. So you really get both sides of things. I think the other thing with the extracurricular activities or co-curricular activities is that it's what you make of it in a sense. And so you can be really, really already passionate about soccer or about swimming and dive in and make that, a huge part of your experience, becoming a captain and being a leader in that space. But you can also then try new things, right? If you've done swimming your entire life and you actually don't really like being in the pool in the middle of the winter, maybe you try playing basketball, or maybe you try out for the musical because you've enjoyed your choir, practices that have gone on.